Today, I'm going to the bookstore to get an answer to the age-old question, should we judge books by their covers? A pretty cover is the quickest way to get me to pick up a book, and in the era of stunning special editions with sprayed edges, gold foil, end papers, books have never been prettier. But does that mean they're good? 9 times out of 10, if a book has a beautiful cover, I'm gonna be buying it regardless what it's about. I like to say I don't judge books by their covers, but I really do, okay? I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl who loves beautiful things, and I love beautiful covers. So I'm going to go book shopping and buying books solely based on the cover art and then reading them to see if the insides match the beautiful outsides. But before we go, I do need to talk about a serious problem that is going on. Recently, I stayed up all night reading a book that I was obsessed with. When I woke up, I was so delirious and tired, I fell victim to a scam text, and I had to frantically go cancel my credit card before they stole all my money. But thankfully, Aura has come through for me, and they are sponsoring today's video because I am so sick of getting scam calls and scam text messages 20 times a day. Every single day, it's, your package can't be delivered. Click this link so we can deliver it. So Aura removes all of your personal information from data brokers and people search sites to protect you against identity theft and scams. And by monitoring your personal data, they send you alerts for any potential frauds. They also protect your devices from malware, viruses, and spyware, as well as securely storing all of your passwords across apps. Aura uses bank level security, never sells your data to third parties, and has 24/7 support from fraud specialists to assist anytime. And I get all of this in one app at an affordable price, and I am not leaving myself vulnerable to data breaches and scams. And if you don't want to either, you can go to this website, aura.com/RileyMarie, to try 2 weeks for free, and that will be enough time for Aura to find out if any of your personal data has been leaked. So once again, thank you to Aura for keeping me safe and sponsoring this video. So I have collected a bunch of different book covers that I love and kind of tried to group them in ways that I think make them similar to each other. So this first grouping of covers is probably my #1 favorite type of cover, and that is covers that look like a painting or actually are a famous painting, have been painted. Anytime I see a painted book cover, I'm buying it. I am buying it and I'm obsessed. My all-time favorite covers fit into this category. A Certain Hunger, Women Eating. Those are 2 of my all-time favorite covers. And I know that both of those specifically are famous paintings that were turned into these book covers. Even ones like A Dowry of Blood, where it's not actually a painting, but it just kind of has that style and looks like it. Same with The Hacienda. I don't believe that cover is painted, but it looks like it could have been. To me, these are just the most beautiful style of covers. The detail, the brush strokes, I'm just obsessed with it. Okay, next, I didn't even really know this about myself, but I realized a lot of covers that I love are black, white, and red. And usually they're like majority black and white with like a little pop of red. I'm really drawn to that. All 5 of these black and white covers I love. And then on this bottom row, all of these covers have kind of 2 things in common. One, they all have some sort of kind of like creepy imagery, but they're also solid backgrounds with one thing on the cover. Just like home, solid pink background, red house. Bunny, black background, bunny on it. And then again, plus they're all kind of creepy. Slewfoot, you have a woman with the bottom half of a goat. Things have gotten worse since we last spoke. Looks like her face is melting. You've got the dissected rabbit on What Moves the Dead. I really love a cover that is just slightly disturbing. And then kind of along those lines, we have covers where someone's face is obscured by plants or some kind of like repetitive object. So You Must Not Miss, we have, you know, the birds all over her face, a lot of ones with plants. Our Wives Under the Sea, the face is obscured by drips of water. I just really like when there's some sort of face that is slightly obscured by something, but specifically plants. The ones with the plants are my favorites. Then I did want to compile what my favorite romance covers are, because I do feel like romance covers are the ones that I like the least, but I do really love this sort of bodice ripper clinch style of cover that traditionally you see in historical romance but has been making its way into monster romances more, and I wish would move over into contemporary romance. This style is really my favorite. I don't know, I'm just not a fan of the cartoony illustrated covers. I'm not really a fan of romance covers where it's just like an object on the cover. I like a very beautiful artwork of the covers embracing, or like historical romance where it's models. That is just my preference. Okay, then I realized a lot of book covers I like have hands on them, and these are all different types of hands. I do really like Summer Sun, where the hands are like coming across the page, but I don't know, something about hands on the cover when it's like just the hands and nothing else. I really like that for some reason. And then lastly, the last kind of cover that I really love. I don't really know if there's a term for this style, but it's when the center of the cover has the text, the title of the book very big, and then around it is kind of all of this like filigree and little decorations. So these are some of my favorite ones in that category, but it is something that I am always really, really drawn to. With this in mind, I'm gonna go book shopping and try to find some book covers that I love. Book shopping adventure, here are the 3 books that I picked up. The first one is A Dark and Drowning Tide by Allison Saff. This is a cover that I've just seen for so long, and every time I see it, I just think it is one of the most beautiful things I've ever looked at. It is giving sapphic Corpse Bride. The line work, the colors, everything about it is just so beautiful to look at. The next one is one that I had not heard of at all, but as soon as I saw it in a store, I knew I had to get it for this video, and that is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews. Now, not only is this front cover stunning, the back, arguably even more beautiful. I love artwork that combines like very creepy imagery into beautiful ones. So this captivated me right away. And then not only that, there's beautiful but very creepy artwork on the inside as well. This is just a very stunning book. I could not walk away from it. And then the last one I actually bought like over a year ago, but I did buy it specifically because of the cover, and that is Till Death Do Us Barred by Rose Black. Not only do I love all of these just like little beautiful illustrations all around the book, the colors are stunning. I just love this cover a lot, and as soon as I saw it, I had to buy a copy of it. And when I bought this, it wasn't even out in the US yet, so I had to buy it from the UK. So these are the 3 books that I'm going to be reading in this video to find out if we can judge books by their covers. So as I'm reading all of the books, I want to talk about the cover artists. I really felt like I could not do a whole video about book covers, beautiful book covers, buying books because of their covers, without really highlighting all of these artists and all of the people who work on cover art, especially with this whole wider conversation right now of AI art and AI art infiltrating the book and publishing world. AI art, unfortunately, is just really taking over, and I get so bummed out when I find a book that sounds great, that I really want to read, and then it has a very obvious AI book cover. It is so painfully obvious how much a beautiful piece of artwork, a beautiful book cover can make readers want to pick up that book. All of these books I picked up specifically because of the artwork on the front, and that could not have been done with AI. And I think now more than ever, if we really want to continue getting genuine art from real people, we need to support the artists that we have in all forms of art, because it is very unfortunate seeing AI take over all aspects of art and creation. Enough about the book covers for now. I am now going to go read all of these books, and I guess we'll find out if the insides match the beautiful outsides, and if you really can judge a book by its cover. The cover artist for Don't Let the Forest In is Jana Heidersdorf. She did both this front cover and this back illustration, which I am obsessed with this back illustration. Like, I would buy this as a print. Honestly, I'd buy both of them as a print. They're so beautiful. I could be wrong, but I believe she also did all of the illustrations inside the book as well. She also illustrated the cover for C.G. Drew's next book that comes out this year, Hazelthorn, and that cover is also stunning. Some other book covers illustrated by Jana is Nocturne, which this is a very beautiful like ballerina image, and then also Odd Occurrences. I do think with like this style and the style of Hazelthorn, we're probably gonna see more covers, hopefully, in the YA horror area. Honestly, YA horror has some of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen in my life. Just looking at the portfolio, artwork, stunning. Amazing, amazing artwork. Like I would buy pretty much any of these. Oh my god, this print of like Rosemary's Baby, stunning. This snake wrapped around a heart, ugh, beautiful. This cover also had a designer who is Meg Sayer, who has designed a bunch of covers. You've probably seen at least one of them. I really love this Night Hunt cover. Obviously a cover artist and a cover designer are two different things, but I did want to mention her because she was listed as the designer. All right, I'm currently on some sprints with my patrons, but I wanted to update you guys because I have started Don't Let the Forest In. I am 110 pages into it, and I'm really loving it so far. I feel like very instantly within the first chapter, I knew that I really liked it. It was reminding me of a lot of my 5-star books. I feel like it's kind of a combination of The Wicker King by Kay Ankrum, a little bit If We Were Villains, and then a lot of Kate Alice Marshall vibes. Basically, this is following our main character, Andrew, and his best friend, Thomas. They go to this like prestigious academy, and when they start the new year, Thomas is acting very strange, and we find out that his parents were just found murdered and he is a suspect, and he's really distancing himself from Andrew, and Andrew's trying to figure out why his best friend won't speak to him. Already, they very much have like a homoerotic friendship where you can tell that the feelings are deeper than just friendship. So Andrew's like devastated that Thomas is basically like cutting him out. We also find out that one of the things that Thomas and Andrew bond over is the fact that Andrew writes these like really creepy stories, and Thomas is an artist and will draw like illustrations for Andrew's stories. And some of those illustrations are actually like in the book, which are very cool. But there's something very creepy going on in this school. There is a forest on the edge of the academy that everyone is forbidden from going in, but it was always where Thomas and Andrew liked to hang out. Every night, Thomas is coming back to their dorm room very, very, very late at night and like covered in bruises and scrapes and blood. Oh my god, there was this one scene in particular that was so creepy where Andrew is in a hallway by himself and he feels who he thinks is Thomas come up behind him and like start kissing his neck and licking his neck, and then when he turns around, nobody's there. It was very creepy. So then we like find out what is going on. This isn't a spoiler, it's in the synopsis and you find out very early on in the book, but we find out that somehow, for some reason, the monsters and creatures that Thomas has been drawing, every night they come to life and they want to kill the people that Thomas cares about. So the monsters killed his parents, and now the monsters are after Andrew. So Thomas has been like putting distance between the two of them to protect Andrew. Oh, it's just so good so far. I love the writing. I love books that explore very close, intimate queer friendships. It's definitely the style of young adult that I really enjoy. So I'm having a great time so far. Since I'm doing reading sprints, I think that I can finish this today because it's just going by so quickly. But so far, the cover is not steering me wrong. Okay, I finished Don't Let the Forest In. Oh my god, this was so good. I do think that the ending of this book is going to be controversial. It's one of those endings where it's sort of ambiguous and like left up to your interpretation. I have a specific way that I'm interpreting the ending, and I love my interpretation, so I'm just gonna run with that. This was really solid. I also realized, because I was Googling the author, I realized that the author used to have a book blog and like a Twitter that I would follow and that I really enjoyed. Their book blog was called Paper Fury, and I just remember like way back in the day, I followed their blog and really enjoyed it. But yeah, I don't think that this is a 5-star. I'm gonna give it 4, 4.5, 4.25, whatever. It's not 5 stars, but I loved it. And I definitely think if you liked The Wicker King by Kate Ankrum, you will love this. It really reminded me of that. Not that like the plot was similar, but there was a lot of like similar themes, and just the way that the story is told reminded me of The Wicker King. But as far as YA horror goes, I loved this. The cover illustrator for Till Death Do Us Part is Mia Carnival, who did all of these just like beautiful illustrations all around, all these little details throughout the book that are just so pretty. Looking at their website, they have a ton of like alternate covers. This one of Twilight, obsessed. I love that. Again, I don't know what this style of cover is called, but I love it so much, where you have just this kind of like center text, and then all around it are these little like cutesy decorations. This one also had an art director, and that is Lydia Blagden, who looks like has done the art direction on tons of covers. The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett, Belladonna. So many different books. I have an update with this book, but let's talk about what it's about first. So this is a cozy fantasy. The main character, Logan, he was like a monster hunter, and he fell in love with his husband, Pi. They got married, and he put down his axe. He is no longer in the hunting business until his husband, Pi, gets kidnapped, and he has to go back on a quest to find his husband. Oh, we're taking a drinking break. I'll wait. You done? The vibes of this were very much giving The Witcher. I have a hunch that this was inspired by Geralt, and I think his name is Dandelion, the bard character, because his husband in this is a bard. And it's very much giving that like grumpy, gruff, like fighter, and then his sunshine singing husband. Okay, here's my update now. In theory, this book sounds so fun, so great. However, I am DNFing it, and I will tell you why. It is falling into this trap that I feel a lot of cozy fantasy falls into, where the author leans too much on it being cozy as a way to not world build or character build or do any sort of like development. To me, it reads like fan fiction, and I don't mean that in the sense that like fan fiction is bad. I mean it in the sense that when you read fan fiction, you're typically reading something from an already existing IP, and you go into it already knowing characters, already knowing the world. And so because of that, fan fiction writers don't necessarily have to do a lot of the legwork when it comes to world building, because the readers already come into the story with this baseline knowledge. And that's how I felt about this. I felt like I was reading fan fiction that I was supposed to already have this knowledge about, but I don't. I don't know this world. I don't know these characters, but I felt like I already was supposed to know them. And it left me very confused. I was very confused for a lot of this. And I just kept waiting for more information to come, and it never came. So I unfortunately am DNFing this. I do think it had a lot of potential. Like, the idea of the story I think is so fun and so good. I just think there's something very lacking in the execution. Unfortunately, I really wanted to love this a lot, and I just don't. The cover artist for A Dark and Drowning Tide is Audrey Benjamin. And this is a book that as soon as I saw the cover, I was immediately drawn to it. I didn't even care what it was about. This artwork is so stunning to me. And I was very curious if Audrey Benjamin had illustrated any other covers, and she actually has, and you've probably seen them. She is also the artist on the cover Lucy Undying, which is actually a book that I almost bought when I was at Barnes & Noble. Very drawn to this cover. The cover is beautiful. And then there's also another book that I very recently added to my TBR because of the cover, and that is A Treachery of Swans. This one also stunning, comes out later this year. At her website, she has a few like special editions that she has been able to work on. One of them being The Turn of the Screw, which is just this beautiful, beautiful like cloth bound book with all of these gorgeous illustrations throughout. She also illustrated the artwork for the Litjoy Crate Gothic Horror collection, which I really wanted to get my hands on. Specifically, I really wanted Dracula and The Picture of Dorian Gray, but all of the artwork for these covers, stunning. And then just looking through her like portfolio on her website, her artwork is just so captivating. I feel like she mixes very beautiful imagery with also very creepy elements, which I personally love. I love creepy art. Her use of color is so interesting. It's very muted tones, but then she'll have like a pop of red, a pop of yellow. I just love her art. She's definitely the type of artist that I would purchase a print from. She does sell some of her artwork on Etsy, and there's a few that I have my eye on, but she definitely seems like she's up and coming in the book cover artist world. I would imagine that over the next couple of years, we're gonna see a lot of book covers done by her because her artwork is just gorgeous. Okay, I am like 70 pages into A Dark and Drowning Tide, and I am really enjoying it so far. Aside from just this having one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen, like the pitch for this book, the blurb for this book, could not be more for me. The blurb is that a sharp-tongued folklorist must pair up with her academic rival to solve their mentor's murder in a sapphic fantasy romance. Yes, yes, yes. So basically we're following two women, Lorelai and Sylvia. They are academic rivals. They're both in a similar field of researching folklore and like magical creatures. And they are both on this team who are going on an expedition to find this magical spring that is told to harness tons of power for the king. The king wants this magical spring and has put together this crew of people who are trying to find where it is. And then the first day of their expedition, when they're on the boat, their mentor, who is running this whole team, gets murdered. And it's someone on the team, it's someone on the boat, but they don't know who it is. And so the two of them have to team up together to figure out who it is. And I'm just really enjoying it already. It has one of my favorite sapphic tropes, sapphic vibes, where it's like, oh my God, I hate this girl. She's the worst with her beautiful hair and her sparkling eyes. I hate her luscious lips and her long eyelashes. It's just so funny. I eat that up every time, where it's like the main character thinks that she hates this girl so much, but she's really just thinks she's the most beautiful woman to exist on the planet and can't stand it. So yeah, I'm enjoying the setup a lot. It really reminds me of Emily Wilde, with like the academia, the research, the folklore vibe, where they're like on an expedition and they're researching all of these like different magical creatures and things. But then also, I could be wrong and I might take this back later on, but it's also giving a little hint of The Cruel Prince. Just like a little sprinkle of that just kind of like hatred. I'm really enjoying this and I'm so glad because I did have very high hopes for it. Not just based off the cover, but based on the synopsis. And I really have not heard much about it. I feel like a lot of people were excited for it to come out because how beautiful the cover is, but then since it's come out, I don't know, I haven't heard anything. But so far, I am having a great time. Okay, I finished A Dark and Drowning Tide and I have mixed feelings about it. I loved the plot. The plot was very interesting. The world with all this folklore was very interesting. I really loved the romance. Romance had me kicking my feet. But there was something about the writing that every single scene in this book, it took me until like halfway through the scene for me to even understand what they were doing. Kept getting lost and confused. I don't think that's a me problem because I read fantasy a lot. I actually just recently read a very complex fantasy and understood it perfectly. I just think something about her writing style is not very clear in her descriptions, and like often like scenes would change and I wouldn't even realize we're in a new scene and that they're in a new location and they're doing something different, and then all of a sudden they're being attacked by something and I'm like, where are they? Where'd that come from? What is happening? And that happened in almost every scene. Now, I still enjoyed the book. I still was entertained by it. It didn't make me dislike the book. I just think I would have loved it a lot more had things been clearer, and I don't even really know how to explain what she could have done differently with her writing. I was just confused, lost for most of the book. Immediately when I finished it, I wanted to be like, oh my god, 5 stars, the girls kissed. I'm very easy to please, all right? If the girls kiss, I'm loving it. I'm having a good time. I'm being objective. If I'm taking a step back and we're ignoring the fact that girls kissed, the romance was cute, hot, loved it, it's a 3-star book. It is a 3-star book. I would try something else from Allison Saft. Like, I wouldn't write her off. I'd actually be curious to read one of her YA books, because this was her first adult book, and I wonder if things would be more clear in her YA books. And if this was just something that like her moving into an adult book, like something didn't translate. I don't know. I would try her YA stuff. I actually own at least one of them. Fortunately, this was not as good as I think it could have been. Because again, the plot I loved, the romance I loved. There was just something in the writing that wasn't working for me. So I have now finished all 3 books. We did have a success because Don't Let the Forest In, I really did love this book. So we had a 4-star, a 3-star, and a DNF. Honestly, I think my conclusion is you can't judge a book by its cover, but I like to have a pretty cover. I still will judge them. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and check out my Patreon where I post tons of exclusive content. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!